I attended my own funeral by mistake. Then I learned someone had stolen my identity 3 months earlier. The first thing I noticed was my own photograph. It was sitting on top of a polished wooden coffin. Underneath it was my name. Sarah Miller, 1997-2026. I stood frozen outside the chapel. There had to be some mistake. I was very much alive. Yet inside, more than 100 people had gathered to mourn me. My parents sat in the front row, crying. My best friend was giving a eulogy. Even my boss had sent flowers. I pushed the doors open. "I'm right here." Nobody reacted. I shouted louder. "Mom!" Still nothing. It was like I didn't exist. Panic took over. I grabbed my mother's shoulder. My hand passed straight through her. I stumbled backward. What was happening? Then someone touched my arm. An old woman dressed entirely in black stood beside me. "You shouldn't be here. I think I'm dead." She shook her head. "No, you're forgotten." I stared at her. "What does that even mean?" She pointed toward the coffin. "Go look." The coffin was empty, no body, no ashes, nothing. Only a single folder. Inside were copies of my passport, driver's license, birth certificate, bank statements, every document I owned. Except, the photograph wasn't me. It was someone who looked almost exactly like me. The old woman explained. 3 months ago, someone stole your identity. They emptied your accounts, sold your apartment, closed your job records, even reported you as deceased. Everyone now believes you're gone." I laughed. "That's impossible." "Then why has nobody noticed you're standing here?" I looked around. She was right. My own father walked directly through me. The old woman smiled sadly. "When the world completely forgets you, you begin fading. Not physically, existentially. You become invisible." I refused to believe it. I rushed to my apartment. A different family lived there. I went to work. Security told me they'd never heard my name. I called my bank. They said the account holder had died months ago. Every piece of my life had been erased. The only person who could still see me was the old woman. She introduced herself simply as Alina. "There are others like us." She took me to an abandoned library. Inside were dozens of people, invisible, forgotten. Every one of them had lost their identity in different ways, some through fraud, some through bureaucratic mistakes, some because powerful people wanted them erased. Alina gave me one rule: find the person living your life. Make someone remember you, or you'll disappear forever. Finding her wasn't difficult. She was living in my house, working my job, using my name, even celebrating my birthday online. She'd spent years studying me before replacing me, the perfect con artist. I couldn't confront her. Nobody could see me. Until one day, I found my grandmother. She suffered from Alzheimer's. She barely remembered her own children. But the moment she looked at me, she smiled. "My Sarah." Tears filled my eyes. "You can see me. I'd know my granddaughter anywhere." The moment she said my name, something changed. The world flickered. Color returned. People started noticing me again. The police reopened the identity theft case. My fingerprints matched. DNA matched. The imposter was arrested trying to flee the country. Months later, investigators admitted they'd never seen fraud on that scale. The judge asked if I wanted to make a victim statement. I simply said, the worst thing she stole wasn't my money. It was every memory people had of me. Today, whenever someone asks why I still visit my grandmother every Sunday, I smile. Because in a world where everyone else forgot who I was, she remembered. And sometimes, one person remembering your name is enough to bring you back to life. If everyone around you suddenly believed you never existed, who do you think would remember you first?